During the summer of 2023, we moved to a remote Scottish Hebridean island to be its only two residents, along with our two pet sheep and pair of cats. These remote islands seem to retain an old-fashioned rhythm and a charm which we find encouraging us to live a more frugal and simple life, the way man was perhaps more intended to. We have an ancient stone cottage to restore, veggies to grow, livestock to build up, fish to catch and smoke, a boat to buy, and much more. Step back in time with us at the Scottish Isle.
Look, we've got
an old boat, doesn't it? To go on the side of a boat, I think. That might come in handy one day when we have our own boat.
For what?
When we have our own boat. Where are you dragging me anyway?
Dead crabs.
The baby crabs.
I've found something of scientific interest.
Is it of international scientific interest?
I think there's a lot about this island that's of scientific interest, don't you?
It doesn't sound like the parlance of a blue-collar worker to me.
It sounds like somebody quite posh would use.
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't want the area becoming littered with...
Anything.
Or just anything.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
in fact, I'd rather you weren't here at all. Do you mind not existing?
I'm going to show you what's been littered over here.
More dead crabs. Keep to the high ground. Don't stand in rotten seaweed. Yuck.
This must really stink. We just can't smell it.
Well, you can smell it back there and you put your foot in it. Keep your eyes peeled for ambergris.
What the hell is that?
You're not going to believe me.
Is it of scientific importance?
It's whale vomit.
Oh. What are you talking to me about whale puke for?
Sperm whale vomit. I never thought I'd say those three words in a sentence together. It's really valuable. They use it in the perfume industry. It's like it almost looks like quartz, except it's a bit more porous and a bit more rounded. It just washes up on shore. It's the only way to legally sell it now. Is to find some and...
Well, how do they used to? They kill the whales for them?
Yeah.
Do you know what? This is why women shouldn't be allowed to use the internet.
You know something? If I find us a bit of that stuff, we could, this time next year, we could be millionaires.
You know what, Rodney?
Like this. It kind of looks like that, but it tends to be a bit more polished and rounded. And the only way you know it's the real thing is because it's actually waxy and you can melt it.
I'm not spending my time here scouring the beach looking for whale sick. I'm not doing it.
Well, you need a hobby. That could be worth 20 grand, that could, if it's whale sick.
Yeah, it's probably worth nothing.
What?
It's over there that I want to show you, but I thought you'd be able to see it, but you can't because of the fern, bracken.
That could be whale sick.
No.
That could be whale sick.
Shut up.
That could be whale sick.
Right, so come and have a look at what I found.
All right.
Looks like something's been sleeping down here. I think the deer have been laying down here. Anyway, yeah, a boat.
Canoe. And a very overgrown trailer by the looks of things.
Well, I'm going to assume that there's something wrong with this.
Ow, overgrown with brambles. Well, ow. It's got duct tape on the side of it. It's got deer poo on the top of it. I'm getting attacked by brambles.
It's got duct tape on the side of it. Do you want my gloves?
That's why you told me to bring mine, isn't it? Well, if this is just a discarded kayak, canoe kayak.
Let me come over the other side. Oh, there we go.
Eh?
So it's a two-person kayak.
Yes, my friend Laura told me they call these divorce makers.
Yeah, I can imagine why.
I don't think it's a good sign that it's got duct tape.
No, it's been dumped there for a reason, hasn't it? It was worth having a look. You never know. Yeah, it's just covered in tape. Just let it fall back on its top so it don't get any water in it.
Aw. I mean, it would be nice to have a wee boat with a motor anyway, but...
Yeah, I'm not interested in anything like this. I just want a normal boat with a motor on it that we can just trek off to all these islands. No hassles. And nothing to worry about apart from whale sick. You would think, living where we do, as excluded as we are, that you wouldn't have a problem with people talking over your filming, would you?
You'd think that.
We've had to stop like 3 or 4 times because of people going by in canoes and kayaks, blah, 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 blah. And because it travels over the water the way it does, it just sounds like they're standing right next to you. Anyway, can you see over there? You probably can't, can you? This has only come to mind for 2 reasons. One, because I just saw it out the corner of my eye, and the other, somebody was watching that very early episode and commented on it about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Well, they're not going to have seen this since one of the very first episodes.
Well,
And
the amount of subscribers that we've lost, I doubt there's anybody left who actually has seen those early episodes.
Mandy, who used to visit the island with her family, who's become a friend, remembers this very thing in situ in the cottage. You may not have seen it, Mandy, but it's a bit upsetting to see it in the state that it's in at the minute. This is the old range stove that was, the Rayburn, right? Where it was where the wood burning stove is in the kitchen now. It used to be there. And so this is a midden, obviously. That in the centre of the screen now is one of the lids for the hob. There's the other one. But yeah, it's a shame.
We know that this was still in use 2001. So this was still in use in 2001.
2010 maybe, I can't remember, it was 2001, 2010, the video she sent me.
Well, a lot of people won't have seen that, but because we filmed that in the, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd episode when I came across it, when we were exploring the island. Do you know, I've got up here now, I don't know how to get down. Don't film me falling off.
I quite liked Shona!
You'd hear that lamb on the moon.
Oh dear, funny.
Where is she? Oh, she's there.
And there's the cat coming for a walk as well. She likes to follow us.
Right,
is there not a midden here as well?
It's
got in there.
Yeah, there's lots of old Victorian, Edwardian pottery and bottles and things.
Anything of scientific interest?
No, the only things of scientific interest are up here. Oh, look what I found. get ready with the focus. Bits of Victorian crockery.
I think I almost fell in the quicksand then.
Yeah, I don't like being around here. It's a bit too boggy for my liking.
Do you not have an experience with quicksand once?
It was a bog, wasn't it?
No, I thought you told me you once experienced quicksand somewhere.
No, not me. Mine's just,
Falling over in a Highland bog.
yeah, falling into bogs.
That looks like the lid for like an oil-fired range or cooker, where you sit it where the wick is, stops the oil spilling out. I bet you that's part of the range.
I didn't hear them come down, did you?
No.
It's the family of the owner.
Off on the boat. These arrived. These are our insulating boards for the floor that are going to go under the flagstones. They're not massively thick, but they're very, very good. They're load bearing, so they'll sit under the flagstones. They are highly insulative. They're used for underfloor heating systems. So, but the most important thing is they're importable. The most important thing is they're breathable, which is importable. So yeah, once we've tanked the floor and done a layer of limecrete, a thin layer of limecrete over the top of the tanking, which you need to do, we're going to put these down, and then the flags will go on top of this. We don't have much height to play with because of the height of the doors, so that's why we've gone for thin, but should make a difference. But anyway, at the moment I am going to get on with sanding this door. We've got a Festool sander, which we invested in a long time ago for the antiques business, and it's worth its weight in gold. Fez is amazing, fantastic tools. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory really, isn't it? Somebody recommended that we use a steamer on this, and I think I will do that in the grooves. I'm certainly going to try it on the door frame before I order any more paint stripper, which I used all of. This is brutal. My arms. It's the top layer that's the worst because it just totally clogs up the sandpaper. I have to keep stopping and cracking it off. We don't have that many sanding pads left, so I'm trying to get the worst of the top layer off before I start getting it down to the wood, because that's going to be the hardest part, getting all the shiny stuff off. I'm halfway there. I think you are. Gubbed. You can see here where there's, well, knots in the wood, or it's possibly screws from the other side that they've filled. But actually, I think when we come to make the door look old, I think I'm going to disguise these. I'm going to ding them like with a hammer, and then I'm going to put a little bit of grey black acrylic paint in to cover the white spot that's in the middle. And then we're going to do dark wax on it, dark oil wax finish, Osmo. It'll look positively medieval. said to myself I would finish a quarter of it and then I would make lunch. And I've done more than that. About more than that. So I'm off. For now.
So what it's like? What's it called? Fantastic Journey?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That Disney film from the 70s? Or the dog and the cat?
The Incredible Journey, is it?
Incredible Journey.
Yes. Well, it's funny that I hadn't noticed this till you pointed it out to me.
This very day, in fact, this very moment.
Yeah, they've built this boundary wall along this bedrock. Pretty cool.
Well, just to give them some perspective.
Showing us drinking from a rock pool.
This boundary wall goes all the way into the sea. Carries on over up to that rock. And also, if we come back this way, can you stop laughing while I'm doing some very important filming? And we go all the way up here. It actually goes, well, it follows the old track up past the back of the house.
I know it's just an old rock wall, but it never ceases to be amazed by their engineering, the old timers, how resourceful they were. But I mean, so this is on the old Georgian maps, this boundary wall, but...
So 17 what? 80?
But yeah, why create a boundary? Because there was just this one cottage.
Well, you said to me that the oldest record you can find is two brothers who are renting this.
That's right. So the island used to be owned by a big estate that's over on the mainland, and they have records in their files of, I think it was 1780 something, of what I assume was two brothers because they have the same surname, renting it, living in it. I mean, they would have been agriculture somehow, seaweed harvesting, sheep farming.
All the actual animal pens that we found are on this side of the island and on this side of this boundary wall. So then that would make sense. So the idea is, yes, you can rent this land, you've got the cottage and you've got this acreage. It needs separating from the rest of the island. But the problem is, what's going on in the rest of the island? Nothing. So just to
Lazy
me, it's like a whole load of work for nothing. But it was obviously important to somebody.
They had potato beds. We don't know how old those are. I'm surprised there's no evidence of potato beds right next to the cottage. You know, all of the agriculture is, you're walking quite a ways. I guess it's to do with the land that they could cultivate, right?
But also just think of the amount of work that's gone on in the last 10 years on and around the cottage. I mean, it's very easy for all that just to be dug up and just disappear with the sands of time.
Yeah, I guess so.